Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Elizabeth DeRazio. There are many in our area that suffer from lung cancer and never smoked a single cigarette. Let's hear from one. Gail?
It was in 2000, and my husband, who had been part of the Framingham Heart Study years and years before, heard about an electronic beam tomography, an EBT scan, where you stayed in your clothes and you just went through it at Cooper Clinic in Dallas, and he wanted to go have it done, and it was not covered by insurance. It was $500, and he wanted me to sign up too, and I said, no, insurance isn't paying for this. No, there's no way. I never smoked. I'm fine, you know, never smoked. And he did his own thing. He signed me up. Actually, he saved my life. We went in for the exam, came out, and my husband, who had smoked in the early part of his life in college and first years, had a clean bill of health. And the radiologist called me in and said, Mrs. Matthews, you'd better get back to Boston and see a doctor right away. There's a spot on your lung. I said, there can't be. I never smoked. I'm this clean living. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything. I'm a goody two-shoes. That's just what I said to him. And he said, well, you get back. So I went to Leahy because we were in Boston at that point, and the doctor did an endoscopy on my throat here, and then he did some other tests, and they said, we don't know what it is. It could be cocci, which I had horses, so cocci is something that is caused from hay. Well, it wasn't that. And Dr. Bemis said, go see Dr. Williamson. She is phenomenal. You will love her. So I went to see Dr. Williamson, and she said, I really want you to get two other opinions. And this is like emotional for me because I'm going back in time. And I went to Dr. Mathieson at Mass General, and he is a wonderful doctor. And then Dr. Sugarbaker at Brigham and Women's, who is like the guru in all of lung cancer across the world, or lung work. I didn't know it was cancer at that point, but Dr. Mathieson said that I had to have it done right away. And I said, I can't go away for the winter and then come back and have it done in the spring? He said, no, because the kind of cancer you have is bronchial alveolar carcinoma, and it just explodes. So you have to have it out right away while it's small. So I got back in the car and called. I don't know how I did this because we didn't have cell phones at that time, but I can remember in the car calling Dr. Williamson and saying, okay, do the exploratory in December. And this was November. And I had chosen her because her hands were small, and I knew she had to go in my back and break my ribs. And Dr. Mathieson, though I loved him, had great big hands, and I couldn't see that in my back. And Dr. Sugarbaker was short, and I loved him too, but I couldn't see how he could take this big woman and make her better. So Dr. Williamson was my doctor. And one of the things I remember so much about the operation, because at that point we didn't know it was lung cancer, and we prayed. And I prayed for her hands to be able to guide me, to God and take care of me. And she was from Denmark. And after the operation, my sons and my husband were in the recovery room and bent over and said, it's lung cancer. It was behind a pneumonia scar. That's why other tests didn't show it. And they removed it, and they removed my lower lobe on the right side. And at that time, there was a cancer board in Boston where they would take the tumor and decide whether there's radiation or chemotherapy going to be had afterwards to make sure all the cells are gone. They voted that no, they had gotten mine, and that was it. So I really had the recovery, not from the lung as much as from the broken ribs in the back. And I have 2 angel cuts on my back where they went in and broke the ribs. That's the hard part. I was in the hospital for 17 days, and it was at Christmas time. And my wonderful husband took my dogs and went down and stayed in a hotel room right near a motel room right near the hospital so that the dogs could be taken care of, because I'm an animal lover, as anybody knows who knows me, and would come and see me every day. And flowers were sent to me, and this is something else I remember, and it banked a whole wall because it was Christmas and people wanted to show how much they cared. And at one point, the doctor said, you can't have any visitors anymore, and you can't have the flowers in your room because flowers might be sprayed with something that will go in your lung. And the other memory I have, because I want to always turn lemons into lemonade, we would have to go every day down to the x-ray, and a nurse would be pulling me or pushing me, and be a technician or somebody, and we would sing Christmas carols at the top of my lungs, so that when the doctors came in to take my oxygen level, they always found that it was 98 or 99, and it was from stretching my lungs and getting good oxygen, and that's very important if anybody's going through any kind of lung surgery. So I recovered from that, and in January we went south and rode my bike and did all the things that I love to do down there, and came back and thought everything was fine until, and there were no symptoms, absolutely no symptoms, for me anyway. No coughing, no shortness of breath. You know, I was still doing everything that I normally do, which is very active. And in 2003, it was on the left side.
Thank you, Gail, for your efforts to make the vagaries of this disease known, to spread awareness. When we return, Fred Nystrom from our host location, the Kentucky Railway Museum, will join me. But first, let's introduce you to the supporters of Yankee Chronicle.